Joel Embiid ruled out yet again with injury. Is it time to be concerned? Also, Doc Rivers is getting on my last nerve. Perfect. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into Philly Take with RB. You know the drill. Hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. I just want to hop right into it. I was not going to come up here and do a video, but I have to. Things are getting at me today. It's a bummy day, and some bummy things are coming out, and it's time to talk about it, man. It is time to dive into it. So before we get to the thing that is concerning, that is getting frustrating to me, something that has my blood boiling, I need to talk about Doc Rivers for a second because he was on Bill Simmons' podcast. He's a regular guest on The Ringer, and he goes on there and chats about different topics. And somehow, some way, he always finds a way to bring up the 76ers. And he's done it all year, not only on this podcast, but other shows as well. And I just saw this come out a few minutes ago. Doc Rivers said today on this podcast that Daryl Morey, quote, talked too much in regards to the time leading up to the trade deadline. And he talked about the trade process and how guys get unfocused and how he was saying pretty much that the Sixer players he had could not get locked in because they were always involved in trade rumors. First and foremost, last year there was not much of that at all. The year before, it was the James Harden fiasco, and we knew who was going to be in the trade. And so, all of that in itself is just a lie, first and foremost. Second off, he starts talking about Rajon Rondo back in 2009 and how there was a story and it messed with Rondo and he had to talk to him. That's fine. Look, at the end of the day, Doc Rivers was a coach for a very long time, right? I can't take that away from him, but I'm just getting tired of the lack of accountability even now, right? There was a clip a couple weeks ago where he was talking about Joel Embiid and how he doesn't do as much as Jokic and things like that. And then there were things about James Harden earlier this season and Joel Embiid and Maxey, blah, 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 blah. The guy never once took accountability for the Sixers choking that playoff series, for the Sixers losing, for choking against Atlanta. It's always you, and never me. And there's a running joke on the internet right now about Doc Rivers not wanting to call a Sixers game because he won't call any of their primetime games. He's an announcer on ESPN. He won't call his Sixers games. Why? He won't even be accountable for that. It's getting annoying. Doc Rivers has never taken accountability for the Sixers' failures. It's not only his fault, but a big part of it is his fault. And you know what? Funny enough, earlier today, before this came out, I put a clip on Twitter and just listen to what Nick Nurse had to say earlier today about one player. Just as an example, Jaden Springer. Listen to this.
We like him. I think he provides certain things that fill some gaps for us. Great on-ball defense, an extra possession getter, etc. It's still going to come down to can he make some perimeter shots, I would say.
We sat up here for a year and we talked about Doc Rivers' refusal to hold Ben Simmons accountable. Oh, he doesn't need to shoot. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to do this. They went to the playoffs. You all are wrong. You don't know basketball. Don't tell me what I'm doing. Ben Simmons doesn't have to shoot. He doesn't have to get better at free throws, blah, blah, blah. Then you ended up benching him in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. Nick Nurse came up here and in one instance had more accountability than Doc Rivers in his entire tenure. He came up here and said, Jaden Springer is a really prolific defender. He brings stuff to this team, but it's going to come down to, can he shoot the basketball from the outside? Boom. That easy. Doc, you're getting on our last nerve. By the way, shout out to Sixer Daily. Doc Rivers, days before the James Harden trade. Doc Rivers on the Sixers roster, quote, we have to get another guard. We just do. So is it only the Sixers? Is it only Daryl Morey talking too much on the radio on 97.5 or going out in podcasts and talking? Or is it you as well? Face the facts. Take some accountability just for once. But it won't happen. Anyway, that's passes. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about what's going on because I'm getting concerned, ladies and gentlemen. I was on the show last night with DJ Eastwood on Run It Back, and we talked about Joel Embiid and these freak injuries, and if we are getting concerned, and just a little while ago, the news came out that Joel Embiid will miss yet another game tomorrow night against the Atlanta Hawks due to left knee swelling. He missed Saturday's game after the Sixers got blown out on Friday. He tried to stay in that game against the Knicks after getting hurt on the first possession of the game, catching an entry pass, planting his foot wrong, getting injured, and then staying in the rest of that game to try to chase the 30-10 streak, make it 15, which he did. They kept him deep in that game, even though the Sixers were getting absolutely routed, and he did extend the streak, but he was playing through pain that entire game, and a lot of people questioned, should he be playing? Didn't end up playing Saturday. Sixers took another bad loss. Now he's not playing tomorrow, and the Sixers have looked like absolute crap without Joel Embiid. That's why he is the MVP. And speaking of the MVP, he now cannot miss 8 more games if he wants to be eligible for awards like the MVP, like the All-NBA teams, etc. But let's talk in totality, man. Last year, when I sat up here after that embarrassing choke of a series against the Celtics, and I said that I'm frustrated, it doesn't matter. I said at that point, everybody should be on the table, even Embiid. That's how pissed off we were, continuing to get to that point. You had it in your grasp, and you let it go. I still feel that way. I said everything that I meant. I meant that, man, from the heart. And I know people out there are frustrated, and all season long, even though Joel Embiid is having one of the best seasons of all time, one of the most efficient years ever, people are still saying within this fan base, we're not going to watch until the playoffs because we don't believe, 1, they can get over the hump, and 2, that they can stay healthy. And you know what, man? When it comes down to it, I'm so happy that Joel's having a great year. I'm happy that the culture has been better, that a system of basketball is finally in place. And, you know, to begin the year, Maxey was looking really good, and all these guys were playing above the level that we expected, and Nick Nurse has had a positive impact on the team. I'm still happy about all that. But I go back to how I felt, and I still feel the same way. They need to get past the second round. It doesn't matter anymore, right? No matter what they end up doing the next couple weeks at the deadline, and we've seen in prior games that it feels like, yeah, they do need another piece to really get over the top to compete with some of these top dogs. No matter if they get another piece, or X player stands up, or Y player becomes an all-star in the second half of the year, if Joel Embiid is not on the floor in the playoffs, it does not matter. Simple as that. You do not win championships without your best players. And the last couple of years, the league has faced a lot of critique because these guys are getting injured every single year. And we know at best, Joel Embiid gets injured every year in the playoffs. It's always on a freak injury, like coming down on Cam Johnson's leg, or getting elbowed in the face by Pascal Siakam, or getting elbowed by Markelle Fultz. It's getting annoying. It's getting frustrating. Maybe he is cursed. Maybe he is. And it would really suck if he is, because he's a damn good player. He's prominent, and he's right now playing the best ball of his career. But you know what? Yeah, I'm starting to get concerned. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. The guy has missed 9 games due to injury, and they keep stacking up. Coming into the season, Nick Nurse said, we're going to play Joel Embiid more. We want him to play every single game. And some of us sat here and said, that's interesting, right? Maybe this is the year to load manage. I know the NBA implemented new rules that, you know, guys have to play a certain amount of games for awards, and, you know, they can't sit out. You can't sit multiple players unless there's, you know, a valid injury excuse, blah, blah, blah. The rules go on and on. If the guy's hurt, he's hurt. And you know what? If I'm the Sixers at this point, and I'm just being honest, you might not like it, but I'm finding a way to sit and beat every third game. I'm finding a way every 1 out of 3 games to let him sit. I'm not playing him on back-to-back. Screw it. All right? You won the MVP last year. It was a beautiful thing, but that's over with. We're trying to win championships. We're trying to get you that finals MVP. And you know what I noticed, man, over the last recent stretch, maybe 10, 15 games, Joel's had to do a lot more. Coming in to begin the season, Tyrese Maxey was playing excellent. He's still playing good, but not at the level he was to begin the season. Tobias Harris has dropped back to his normal self. And Joel Embiid, to start this year, sat out a lot of fourth quarters. He also, like I said, didn't have to do much. His usage rate wasn't as high because of how everybody was performing. Then when that first injury bug hit, it's like, you know, everybody started going out and getting sick too, and then things came back to normal a little bit. But, you know, he's going to need more help. He's going to need more help, and he can't do everything himself. Sure, these 50-point games are nice, but you have to be ready in the long term for the playoffs. And, man, it's just getting frustrating at this point. And I'm starting to get concerned with these injuries adding up already to this point in the season. So, yeah, you know, I don't care about the awards anymore. All right? Don't let him win the MVP. Let's go win a damn second-round playoff series. That's how I feel right now. Are you concerned? Are you concerned at all about Joel Embiid. Can he stay healthy this year? What do you think is going to happen? Give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. As always, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.